Roger Bowling, Abel Trujillo, it's in the lightweight division. Bowling is 11-4. Trujillo is 10-5. Bowling coming off a second-round knockout loss to Anthony Njokuani, while Trujillo is coming off a decision loss to Khabib Nurmagomedov. Trujillo is 1-1 in the UFC, 29 years old. Bowling, 31 years old, 0-1 in the UFC on a 2-fight losing streak after going 4-3 in the Strikeforce promotion. While Trujillo was on a 5-fight win streak before his last fight, including a UFC debut knockout win over Marcus Levasseur. Trujillo trains out in Boca Raton, Florida with the Black Zillions, while Bowling is from Cincinnati, Ohio. Bowling, 7 of 11 wins by knockout. Trujillo, 4 of 10 wins by decision with 3 knockout wins as well and 3 submissions. Bowling has been knocked out 3 times for 4 total losses with 1 decision. Trujillo has been knocked out just once, submitted twice, and lost twice by decision. Fred, I'm going to go with your newest Twitter follower, Abel Trujillo. I think he's going to pick up the victory. I don't like the fact that Bowling was knocked out in his last fight, whereas Trujillo, I thought looked good against a very tough Khabib Nurmagomedov. I think this dude, Khabib is 20-0. He is undefeated and looking like one of the next great ones at 155 pounds. So the fact that Trujillo was able to go the distance with this beast, impressed me and showed me that Trujillo is a gamer and he's in it for the long haul. And, people talking a lot of smack about the Black Zillions, Fred, but hey, Michael Johnson shut everybody's mouth beating up on Joe Lozon this past Saturday night. So I think I'm going to go with Michael Johnson's teammate at lightweight, training with an improving Michael Johnson, Abel Trujillo. I'm going to go with him for the victory. Who are you picking here?
I'm following you. Also, I'm going with Abel Trujillo. Got problems with that name, but I'm going with him. Hopefully, he does what I asked him and goes out to a Killer Cam song.
Of course.
On the walkout.
Of course.
And, like you said, losing to Khabib is probably better than losing to Anthony Njokuani, so I got to go with Abel.
Kevin went with Roger Bowling. Interestingly, we started taking Kevin's picks and your picks and my picks and comparing them. We did it last week, and I went 9-4, and you and Kevin both went 7-6. Although you picked many different fights, it turned out that you and Kevin were even, and I beat you both, which I definitely have to gloat about, right?
But I'm still the greatest.
Well, of course. No one ever said you weren't the greatest. You're Fred Garcia, damn it. Come on. So we're both going against Kevin here, taking Abel Trujillo over Roger Bowling. Let's move on to the next one. Zach Cummings takes on Ben Alloway. Ben Alloway is 32 years old from Australia, 1-1 in the UFC. Zach Cummings, 29 years old from the United States on a 2-fight win streak. This will be his UFC debut. He was on The Ultimate Fighter Season 17 on Team Chael Sonnen, where he lost to Dylan Andrews by decision. While Ben Alloway was also on The Ultimate Fighter, he was on Ultimate Fighter Smashes, where he lost to Brad Scott on his season. Alloway has the majority of his wins by knockout, 6 of 12, while Cummings has 8 of 15 wins by submission. Alloway has been submitted 3 times, and I think that's the key to the fight here. I think that Zach Cummings is a better wrestler and just a better grappler than Ben Alloway. He's going to take him down, he's going to keep him down, and he's going to look for the tap out. That's how Cummings wins his fights. Alloway is a guy that likes to throw his hands. He likes to win by knockout. Problem is, Zach Cummings has actually never been knocked out. I don't think that Ben Alloway is going to be the man to knock him out. I like Zach Cummings pretty strongly in this fight. I really think he's going to beat Ben Alloway. Kevin went with Zach Cummings as well. Fred, you going against us, or are we going to make it all 3 with Zach Cummings over Ben Alloway here?
Unfortunately, I have to go with you guys.
Unfortunately?
Yeah, because
you're joining the winning team here, Fred.
I wanted to go with Ben Alloway, but you made a lot of good points. I think Ben Alloway, other than his cool nickname of Benny Blanco, doesn't have much going for him.
Australians don't have the best wrestling, the best, jiu-jitsu, especially the wrestling. And Zach Cummings is a wrestler, so I think he's going to be able to just out-wrestle Ben Alloway.
Don't tell that to Anthony Perosh.
Perosh has got good jiu-jitsu. I'm not going to say anything about that, although he didn't use it last fight. Yeah, I would take that back about Australians not being the best at jiu-jitsu. There's some pretty good Australians at jiu-jitsu, but Soteropoulos, yeah, they're not the best. I mean, I think the Brazilians would tend to be the best at jiu-jitsu, but the wrestling isn't great, the Australians. In fact, that was one of the knocks on Soteropoulos, is that, hey, the guy's got great jiu-jitsu. He can't use it because he never takes his opponent down. He can't get the fight to the ground, so then it's standing up and he gets knocked out. I think which happened in the Dennis Seaver fight, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right, and I was going to say that's why I like the last couple of fights of Damian Maia, because Damian Maia has worked a lot on his takedowns against Rick Story.
That's
and
right.
He goes on it.
John Fitch.
Exactly. He's aggressive towards the takedown, and that's what more of these jiu-jitsu guys need to work on, is their takedown ability.
That's 100% correct, and that's something that I've been hammering on for a while here on the show, is that, hey, if you've got great jiu-jitsu, you need to work on your wrestling, because this is MMA, and if you're not able to take it down, nobody's going to want to engage with you because you have good jiu-jitsu. You got to be able to force them to engage and put them on their back. How about this next fight here on the prelim card? James Head takes on Jason High. It's in the welterweight division. Head is a 9-3 fighter. High is 16-4. Head is 2-2 in the UFC, while High is 0-2. Head, 29 years old, from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Jason High from Kansas City, Missouri, trains with the American Top Team. He's 31 years old. Both guys, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belts. Both guys coming off first-round losses in their last bout. High was submitted in the first round by Eric Silva on June 8th for the UFC, while Head's last fight was a first-round knockout loss to Mike Pyle in December. Head has UFC wins over Papi Abedi and Brian Ebersaw, while High still looking for his first-ever UFC victory. This, I think, is a tougher fight to call, but I'm going to go with James Head in this one. The fact that he's got 4 of his 9 wins by knockout, I think, gives him an advantage stylistically in this matchup. Jason High has lost twice by knockout, and I think that James Head's superior striking will be the difference in this fight with Jason High. Also, the fact that Jason High has still not been able to pick up a victory inside the octagon shows you that, hey, maybe he's just not up for the UFC, not up for the competition when you get to the big leagues. So I'm going to go with James Head for the victory here. I think he's going to pick up the win, maybe a knockout, maybe a decision. As Jason High is a guy that likes his submission, 7 of 16 wins by submission. He really doesn't have a lot of knockout power. 16 wins, but only 3 by knockout. Whereas James Head, 9 wins, 4 of those by knockout. I think he's going to use his hands. I think their jiu-jitsu will kind of counter each other. They're both purple belts. So I like James Head here for the win.
I'm going to follow you. James Head also for me. If I look at Jason High, all the big names he fought, he lost. He lost to Eric Silva, lost to Charlie Bredeman, lost to Marius Zaronskis, lost to Jay Heron. So I got to go with James Head also.
Knocked out by Jay Heron and Marius Zaronskis. Zaronskis, one of the most beautiful knockouts of all time when he knocked out Jason High out in Dream on his route to the Dream welterweight title. Awesome stuff. Beautiful head kicks.